All right, as we transition into building up in our opponent's half, I like to run a drill called the 3v2 plus goalkeeper, meaning I have 3 attackers, 2 defenders, and 1 goalkeeper. I'm trying to mark out a 24 by 24 yard area, mainly the width of the penalty area, and then making it more square so we have room to work in. I have 2 counter goals so that if the 2 and 3 or 1 win the ball back, they can try and attempt to score, making it more game-like. And we start with the 1 player out of the area. The 2 and 3, I have them start in the penalty area. 4 and 6 have to start outside it, but ahead. And then the middle player, or wherever they want to dribble into the pitch or to the drill area, will dribble from. And they could pass directly from too. So you can dribble or pass to start the initiation of the drill. So the first 2 things I'm trying to encourage on this drill starts with the player who's dribbling or passing in. I actually encourage them to dribble in because I want them to dribble into pressure, meaning that I want them to choose a player and dribble the defenders and dribble right at them. So even if they're not doing anything, I'm encouraging them dribbling right at them. Now, why would I say do that? Because we're teaching them to create a 2v1 situation. So if the 5 dribbles to the 2 and the 3 is kind of stationary, comes out to the 6, we now have a 5 and 4 going against the 2. So it should be, once the 5 is comfortable and close and they're making good angles, we're passing out to the 4. 4 is taking a shot. So again, first thing, player dribbling in, we want them to dribble into pressure and we want them to take a defender on. And then 2, we want them to find who's open and what situation we're creating, where's the open player, and hopefully by creating a 2v1. And then we want the player who receives the pass to take a shot on goal. That's the basics. Once we get that, we're grooving and we can start going more advanced things. So more advanced, so let's go back. So what will happen, 5 dribbles in, again, we mastered it. And let's say he picks the 3 this time, 3 comes out, 2 comes over here. 5 makes a pass, maybe a little early, which is common, out to the 6, and the 3 recovers quickly. So when the player receiving the pass is blocked, they could take a shot, but we want to encourage them not to do less 1v1, and some have different philosophies on that. That's fine. If the 6 wants to take a 1v1 and take a shot, that's great. But ideally recognizing, hey, there's now pressure. Where do I need to go? And now we can start encouraging maybe a negative or a drop pass or back pass, whatever you want to call it. Some type of 6 where the 6 is coming back out to the 5 because the 5's open and the 5's reattacking, maybe down the middle, right? And then back out. So we're encouraging that, or we're encouraging the 6. If this happens and the 2 comes over because they're good defending, now the 6 and the 4 are trying to work together to cross over into the 4 and take a shot. So now we're encouraging 2 passes or multiple passes if the player receiving the pass gets guarded quickly and they can't proceed forward to the goal. Again, we're just working on the possession here. And then if we get really advanced and we're feeling like, wow, we're doing multiple passes, players are getting open, they're working really well together. Something to introduce them, again, this is again more creative and how good your players are, is can we make a pass out here almost immediately? So if 5 passes into 6 and 6 is dribbling it almost center, and we're trying to encourage it, them to switch positions and find the open areas on the field where maybe the 6 dribbles in and finds a 5, or maybe the 4 is making a cut up the middle and doing a nice, what will become eventually an underlap, right? And they're hitting the 4. So can they start moving and shifting positions on the field based on where they attack? That's pretty advanced. I'm not expecting that this year for the U8, U9 boys I have. And it really it's a progression, right? So again, recap. First, can the 5 recognize and dribble in to pressure, take on a defender, find the open player, create a 2v1, make the pass, and that player shoots it. That's the basics. And then after that, can we make multiple passes because the player we pass to is getting covered quickly, either by doing a negative or a drop or back pass, whatever you want to call it, back to the central attacker, or making a crossover to the other middle. And then lastly, can they start switching positions and recognizing open positions on the field? Because again, we're outnumbering the defenders. There's 3v2 and the goalkeeper. We run the drill until the ball goes out of bounds, there's a foul or infraction, or either of the team scores. If this is too difficult, you can always drop down to 3v1, right? Take one of these guys out, and we do a 3v1 goalkeeper. I don't like to do that. I like to keep it a little more game-like. But ideally, if you're really comfortable with this drill and the boys are really getting it, what I really want to drop down to, and this is where the beauty of this drill comes from, is I want to go half the pitch, put the counter goals way out here, start up here, start 6 and 4, and then put the 7 in the middle. And then actually add another defender. And we'll just say it's their 5, right? So now we're really building into this building up in the opponent's half, where we have the 5 dribbling in, and we've got such a huge pitch, right? But now that he's got multiple options, so now he's getting attacked, so maybe passing down, and then making a run, making an underlap run, getting it back. Or these, I mean, they're not really technically overlap runs. We're not waiting for anyone to pass the ball, but if the 7 knows the 4 and 6 are going, it's technically, I mean, it is an overlapping kind of run where they're coming up. So that's where I want to get to, where we're using half the pitch. We're doing a 4v3 plus goalkeeper, and now we're just creating more options where the 5 is playing down to the 7, and it's also kind of starting to build in mind, hey, the striker's not just waiting at the half, they're running down the pitch with them, they're getting in the defense, they're causing some havoc. And I would probably only start working on offsides if you get to this portion of the drill. I wouldn't do offsides before, just to eliminate confusion. You can do what you want. It's always good to follow the rules of the game. But it's when we get to this drill that I'd start saying, like, okay, here's the offsides, basically where the build-out line is, and playing accordingly and teaching them that way. But this is where I want to get to by the end of the year for these transitions. So I hope you enjoy the drill. Thanks.